lecture has not reached chapter 3, right?
I think yes.
You all just finished chapter 1, I heard.
Yes.
Not even 2 yet, huh? Okay, so the tutorial is going ahead. So what I have to do is, I think what I'll have to do is explain to you some of the concepts from chapter 3. So let me show you the lecture notes, and let me give you a quick summary of what you can learn from this chapter. So this is quality management and assurance. So what this topic is talking about is that in every software development project, you have to worry about quality, right? Because poor quality software, you get users frustrated, you won't deliver what the users need. So you cannot meet the quality requirements. Remember quality, the triangle we learned? Scope, time, quality. This is the quality to meet the requirements of the user. So this is one concept, and this whole topic is about that. There's a lot of theory, more words inside this topic than calculations that you can understand. So you have to bear with me. We have to go through this about quality. There are 3 important concepts that you want to know about quality. So let me talk to you about it and show you the slide. So at least when you see the slides, you know what we're talking about. Where is the slide?
It's okay.
Give me 1 minute while I find the right slide to show you. Okay, here's the slide I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
So these are the So this is all about software quality, right? So there are 3 things in software quality that you got to know, and these are the 3 things. Quality actually starts with quality planning, so that's the first item. I'll explain to you what this is. Then quality assurance, and then finally quality control. So these are the steps you have to go through to ensure quality in your software project. Okay? So the first one, you start with quality planning, where you select what are the processes or procedures or standards that I want to set for my software project. So let me give you an example. Let's say your software project, one of the quality attributes you want to measure is performance efficiency. How efficient is your software development project? How efficient is the software that you're going to develop? So that's one. Another quality planning you can select here is usability. You know about usability, right? How easy it is for the end user to use the system. So these are all different quality attributes. So let me stop here. We're talking about quality planning. Let me show you the slide on quality planning. I have to find your slide because it's all over the place. Let me find the slide to show you quality planning and the different attributes. Okay, here we are. Yeah. So in quality planning, you have to define. So you start off by planning and say, what are the attributes which are most important in my software project? So is it functional? Do I want to measure quality based on the functionality, whether it's complete, whether it's correct, whether it's appropriate? Or do I want to measure quality based on usability? Is it easy to use? Is it easy to operate? Can the users recognize using it very quickly with limited training? Or you might want to measure your software quality with reliability, or security, or modularity, or portability. So there are about 8 to 10 areas, and this one is not created by us. This is defined by ISO. Okay, so ISO publishes this. You can go and look at it here for the quality model and attributes. Then what you do in quality planning, you say, okay, for this software development project, what's very important for me is functional, maybe usability, right? So once you've decided on those 2 attributes, then you need to start putting in what exactly do you want to achieve usability in what did I say? Functionality. Okay, so then you move on to the next phase. So let's go back to the slide. Hopefully I can find the slide again. There was a slide on QA, QP, QC. This one, yeah, okay. So we have to take a step back before we can do any of the tutorials. So what I did just now is I selected the appropriate standards from the framework, right? I selected 2 attributes I wanted, functionality and usability. Then from here, then next step you do is quality assurance. Yeah, quality assurance is when you go in and say, okay, now that I've selected functionality and usability as my 2 software qualities, what do I need to do to find out whether I've achieved that or not? So for usability, maybe we have to have a standard framework for UI UX design. Because I want to measure usability, right? So I must make sure that I have a way to measure whether my usability is good or not. So UI UX design, make sure I have a standard for that so that when people design the screens, design the reports, design the different modules or different functions, they follow the UX UI design, the guide that says that buttons must be this size, windows must be organized in this way with different colors, with different font size. So that's usability. Okay? So that's quality assurance. And then finally, after you've developed the software, you do quality control. So what you do now? You check whether what you've developed meets the standard that you've assigned for, you designed for. Okay? So it goes this way, like the way I remember is PAC, planning, assurance, and then quality control. Everybody okay? That's the easiest way I think I can explain this to tell you what's involved in software quality. Okay? These are the 3 main activities: planning, assurance, and quality control. So with this, I think we can do the first tutorial. So let's try. But don't worry, I'll guide you and give you the answer as well. So for question 1, to do this tutorial, you have to go and read the case study in tutorial 2, question 1. So if you can do that for maybe 5 minutes, go to tutorial 2, question 1, read the case study. Then after that, we'll do it together. Suggest 1 software quality attribute for BTX project implementation and explain your answer. So if you can go and read the case study, I'll move it up there so you can see it. And then we'll do it together and select 1 case, 1 software quality attribute. Here we are. Hopefully it's not too small for the rest of you. But this is the one we did earlier, if you remember. Okay. Have a quick read, and then I'll write some of the ideas down as you read through this, and we can progress.
这条有几个人进来，最后我拿出来。
啊，我的宿舍 WiFi 卡。
他突然那个在导入过来，好。
速度有点慢。
速度有点慢，跑1个小时。哇，这个
慢点慢一点。
那呀，而且有些就是会飞吧，飞掉。
是啦，也是2分钟就出来了。
你的功力，那是好的。快门。就是力。
快难了。
一动到吧，一起。
可以的。专门冲那种什么。
太敏感了啊！太敏感了。
好啊，一天10多次。
最好有这个力啊！最好有这个力，你最好可以。痛了，痛了，一天3次0了，开始痛了。你看，我也你看他讲的，是说你啊，还没有磨到他，
看到讲一轮。现在写出来会是吧？然后那个什么，别的一个，上个星期16个给我。我看了2次，我看了2次。完全去爽，又把这我是叫 AI。现在摸我来跟你看一下，找不出。有经济有没有经济？
更明白。
更厉害一点，还高一点。哎，你最好不要从这里出去啊！你最好爬出去啊！不然你会加点。我们有激动了，很冷静哎。对呀。现在我人家冷静。
哇，你看啊，这个。
你才不要激动啊！不愧是勇劲。
看这个头像，蛮连环，要帮我变。
我
还要老。那个粉镜头太低了，可以这个。
是不是教练呢？
不是，教练这个。教练这个不许看。
教练能使。
啊，你这学生，为啥
只是还有妈妈靠近来。
就是孩子这边啊，说美语那个人在这个。
不认识啊，没有看过。
我只认识我爸那个，还有 Kitty 的，男的。没有女儿，不能给女儿拍了，因为如果你要给女儿拍，没有那也是要干啥？是不是？没有啊。不是你要搞多的送走，你要买啊，送走，你要跟人家送走，搞那个搞啊。比赛，
也是要。还没考虑这个。
没有，考虑就是因为美国没有 match， 我们先决定。
Okay, so shall we discuss this? So there are a couple of software quality attributes you can select, but I think the one that's most obvious to me, there are a few you can select, I admit, but the one that's most obvious to me is what the ISO called performance efficiency. Remember the different categories? This is one of the category. And what this category means is how quickly and efficiently a system can respond and process under load. So this one, obviously, they have a lot of problems, right? They can't get the information, it's slow, the data is not captured correctly, so they have a lot of issues, right? So what we did here under performance efficiency, because we selected it as a software quality attribute, we define what are the things it must achieve. So you will look for the negative sides over there, and you will start looking at the positive things that you can write about it, what you want to achieve. So the first one is the new system will produce mistakes made on orders, simply because if you read through here, there's a lot of mistakes made in orders, there are mistakes made in orders, and it took a long while to process as well. Clerks can check product availability easily. If you read the case study, the clerk has a tough time trying to find out whether the product is available or not. It's not accurate at all. And the last part here, this is the positive one, so ensure that updated info is shared and takes less time to share with senior management, because if you read the last part here, when senior management tries to get the latest update, they can't get the information in a timely manner. So your software quality attribute, performance efficiency, is to address all those issues. So this is your goal. That's why you're setting the standards that you want. And because if you look at your lecture notes, there are 3 things that you have to highlight when you talk about performance efficiency. You talk about the time, the throughput, and the capacity. So in this case, we define time as information and data shared, compile reports on time. Because here, they cannot compile it on time for senior management at all. So that's the time behavior. The throughput rates, process customers' orders on time, okay, as fast as you can. Because here, beam scope takes 5 to 7 days to ship and order. So your customer orders processing throughput must be better, faster. Okay? And one of the other measurements of throughput rates is use RFID barcodes for inventory. Senior management envision a new system that not only can take order entry but also feature a reader frequency barcode system for inventory control. So this one will help you process things much faster. And finally, capacity. What I picked up from there is able to search the products at 2 different warehouses. The problem here is they can't. They can go to warehouse 1, look for it, they don't find, go to warehouse 2. So this is how I answered the question. Of course, you can change it to say that instead of performance efficiency, I want to talk about usability. You can as well, but I think in this case, the most obvious software quality attribute, because of all the problems, is performance efficiency. Okay? So you will learn about this in your lecture a little bit more. Hopefully there are more examples, so I'm just giving you the beam scope example of how you could use to answer this question. As I said, this one is a bit more reading, no calculations, so you have to read and answer the questions. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, I want to talk about a few more things before we can do the next tutorial. So let me talk about it a bit more. Okay. Okay, let's talk about question 2. So you guys know, right? There's QP, QA, and QC, right? We talked about this now. This one is your plan, how you're going to start, what are the standards and processes you want to start. And from here, in quality planning is when you choose what we just did. Find the software, I'll do it in short form so you have to follow. The software quality attributes, right? So here is when you define how should we measure the quality of our system. So we did the software quality attributes, we picked performance efficiency, right? But there are a lot of other categories, remember? I showed you just now, there's usability, there's maintainability, there's portability. So there's a lot of attributes you can take to measure software quality. And these attributes are defined by ISO, the International Standards Organization. So once you've done quality planning, the next thing you have to do is quality assurance. So what you can say is, let me find a good example to give you. That's software development related. Hopefully it will make more sense to you because this is a textbook theory. So let's say in your quality planning, you say that you want to measure code efficiency. How efficient is the code being written by your software development team? Okay. Your quality assurance, you can start doing the checking. You can have code reviews. You don't do code reviews, but you select a standard. You say this is how we're going to make sure that our codes are efficient. So we do code reviews. Then QC is you actually sit down and do the code reviews. Here, you execute the process to check whether what you plan to do can hit your goals. So this is how you do it. You go step by step. Quality planning, quality assurance, and then quality control is when you actually do it. So the question being asked now is, what is the difference between quality assurance and quality control? And highlight those differences. I think the best way to do this is to look at your lecture notes so that you have an idea. So let's look at quality planning. Okay, so quality planning is here. Where is it? Quality planning. Specify the desired product qualities and how these are assessed. So if usability was the desired quality, then user testing with us. Okay. So you can do that here with quality assurance. Let me find another example for you. This example is not so great. Let me pull out another example. Give me 1 minute. Then I'll show you the answer to this. I can erase this. Okay, let me write off it.
看到你的手一直长长的，是不是？没有，不是把那个是那个调到。也是那一点的。
我那个电器发到，但是一点现在关到了，关到了。
Okay, I think I should have set this up in the first place because this is way easier to understand this example compared to your notes here. So, if I can have your attention again, because we are going to answer question 2. So, quality planning is you decide what quality looks like and plan for it. So, you decide for this project, what is the most important software quality attribute. We selected performance efficiency just now, but in this example, I've chosen usability. So if you're building an e-commerce system, maybe one of the important attributes that you want to measure quality is the usability of the system. Okay? And you tell yourself, okay, to check whether it's usable, really good in usability, I need to set standards for my UI. Okay? What fonts I should use, what background I should use, what templates I should use, what colors I should use. So you set all these standards up front. Okay? Then QA is when you start building good processes to prevent the problems. So in this example, the same example, what do? Because you set usability as an important attribute. So now what you do, the first process that you want to do is, we should train developers how to use our UX UI design standard that we've decided for this project. So that's one of the processes that you should do. Then the second process you want to do is, we must also, after they design something, we must review the interface design, what they built. So these are the things you should do, okay? And then finally, you do quality control, where you test and fix any problems that happen. So what do you do here? you conduct usability testing by observing users to see whether the users, when they start using your software, they can use it easily or they stumble, they don't know what button to press. So you see how all this tree falls into place? So you typically, when you do this, you don't structure it this way. But this subject gives you a way to structure how you want to measure quality, how you want to put processes in place to measure that quality, and how you want to test whether that quality goal has been achieved. Okay? Make sense or not, this one? I think from a software developer's perspective, should make sense. So that's what we are trying to do. So let's go back to the question now. So what are the three differences between quality assurance and quality control? Okay. Can I ask you to look at your lecture notes first before I show you the answer? Can you please look at your lecture notes and go through slides, just glance through and see some of the points there. I think slides 21 to, let's see, go through slides 21 to 28. Just read through a bit and see whether some of those ideas make sense. 21 to 28. And then I'll write the answer. I'll give you some sample answers here on the board.
拜我那个课有换到哪
可以找出9点写的一个，主播，他们讲，那对会有关。换两个是，
换到了，还没换。
本来是直接
到5，
不是哎
150诶。
换两个9点，9点到10点。
6个，现在是把4点到5点换到9点到10点。
这是还没换。我要连3个场。
现在教我。
干定不行而已。又怕一个弄的3分了。
我看你这个
你的力度
3只手。
这个人怎么设计？
小便说教。
有一种知道吃了。
谁要回来的？
对，3
找到这个
我买来给你用 ，OK。老师卖300，加上了300，付你租进去，然后300块给你花。你拿一个我们直接打开就封闭，把封闭取上了。
是我以前打赌啊，不知道。
等你也住一起看，是不是买进去住？是不是？你不要在我讲，没有讲，你没有买讲，买了讲，买我住，你住，哇，傻小，骗人的，他说唱别等2个月，
我也没有人做那个。
picture, right, in mind. What happens here, and what happens here, and we can compare QA and QC at least. So QA, as you can imagine, is very process oriented, right? Because if you look at this here, you set up processes. Let's train developers on UX UI. Let's review the interface design. It's very process oriented, right? Whereas QC, which is quality control, is very product oriented, right? Because you look down and say, okay, let's conduct usability testing to observe the users. So you're focusing on one part only. So it's very product oriented. Whereas this, you think about all the different things you can do, the processes you can do. This one, you're very focused. Let's test and see whether it's usable or not for the user. So that's why one is very process, one is very product oriented. The other one is proactive and reactive. Because it is very process oriented, you are planning for it, you are being proactive, right? You say, okay, before the problem happens or the defect happens, let's make sure we train developers on UX design. Before anything happens, let's review the interface design, how the standards are supposed to be. But QC is more about corrective. After the problem has happened, you do things like this. Let's conduct usability testing by observing the users, but the problem would have happened already, right? That's why you are trying to find out if there are defects, there are problems with usability. So it's very reactive. Then this is very similar. Because you are proactive, you are also being very preventive with QA. You want to prevent the problem from happening, so that's why you plan all of it in advance. Whereas QC, from this case, if you think about it, or if you're doing software testing, it's very corrective. The problem is already occurred, you're trying now to identify the problem, and you're trying to fix the problem. So that's why it's very corrective. QA, typically you apply through the whole software development lifecycle, right? You want continuous improvement over that. But QC typically happens during the testing lifecycle, right? So like usability testing, or in this case usability, yeah, it happens during the testing stage of the software that you have developed, right? Or if you're looking for bugs, that also happens after you finish developing the software, right? What else? So the other attribute, I gave you more than 3. QA is about improving quality of over time, long period, whereas QC is very specific, looking for problems that has happened already, defect identification. And the last one is just for your info, they use different techniques. One is called statistical process control, one is called statistical quality control. So these are the primary differences between both those techniques. Very exciting, eh?
Yeah.
Very exciting. Yeah. Okay. I'm very concerned that we are going so fast, so I think we have to slow it down a little bit because we haven't even covered it in the lecture yet. So I'll do one last tutorial and then we'll take a break. But I wanted to talk about a little bit more about this. Hold on, let me find my notes again. Where were my notes? You can read question 3. We are going to do that very shortly.
三个有点不一样了，有几个多短，
你笑人家嘞？
不来，你是吧？没气哦。那不一样，他们在破，就是我，
Okay. So far, what you have. Hey guys. So far, what we have learned is these are the techniques or the steps. The steps that you can do to achieve better software quality, right? Yes. Okay. So you know about this now. Software quality. Now the next thing I wanted to introduce you is how you can because this is like a framework, right? Do quality planning, quality assurance, quality control. I think the better word for this is framework. Framework for better software quality. So what are the techniques you can do, the actual things you can do, the things that we talk about here? So in your lecture, they presented 4 ways that you can check for better quality. So let me show you in your notes. Somewhere down here, let me try to find it. Okay, the next one. Okay, so this slide here, let me just open it up for you. All the different techniques you can use to improve your software quality. Okay, these are just different categories of things. You can do you can do inspections. So, for example, you can look at your software code to see whether it achieves some of the software quality standards that you have in your software development project. So, for example, you want to make sure that all variables, just giving you an example in software project, all variables must have meaningful names, cannot be very code names, must be very meaningful variable names. So you can do inspection where software developers can go through the code and review each other's code. I won't talk about clean room software development, that's another technique, but software quality circles, I will talk about that, but these are different techniques. Let me talk about the last one, because this is the subject of your tutorial, which is lessons learned. Lessons learned is actually, after the project is finished, this is another technique, maybe the project manager will write a report. That's what lessons learned is, about the lessons learned from this project. Maybe the lessons learned could be, if we want to use agile methodology in our next project, this is the first time I've used agile, the lesson learned is we want to make sure that we train all our developers on the agile methodology. Because we discovered in this software development project, we didn't train the users, so everybody was unsure what their role was. Okay? So that's another way you can implement lessons learned. Lessons learned in real life is actually challenging. It's easy to write the report. The problem is not many people read the report after you write it. So it's happened in real life before. The project manager of a project finished the project successful, he wrote lessons learned report. He produced a nice 20-page document. Now the question for you is, who in the organization is responsible for reading the report and implementing the recommendations in the report? Nobody. If you are a software developer, will you implement all the things that you recommend? It could be some parts, but it's not your responsibility. So that's what happens in real life. People will read the report and say, good idea. But not my job to implement this, okay? And if you look around the organization, nobody is focused on implementing corrections like this. Okay? So it is a challenge. You can write nice reports, but nobody looks at it. I think inspections work better. You will learn about these 2 others in your class, so I won't talk about it. So let's look at the tutorial. Last question we'll do for today. Inspections and lessons learned. Let me give you some notes that you can use. So there are some benefits for inspections. So I'll write that down over there.
所以有没有看？Assalamualaikum.
那他们在修这个，你看，
没事啊。
干嘛的？那非常聊看。
Okay, so let me summarize what we just talked about this to answer this question. So inspections, the goal really is to improve the quality and identify issues. So what you do is you do a systematic examination of software artifacts. Software artifacts can be anything that you produce during the software development process. Could be your code, could be your documentation, could be your design. So those are all artifacts, things that you produce when you develop software. Then what you do is you get a bunch of people together, either your other friends, software development friends, or you create new teams. And what they do is they review the artifacts to identify if there are any issues. So that's what they do. Okay. So this is actually, if you think about it, part of the quality control, right? You want to identify issues if there are any issues. So this is one package you can use during QC. So this is just a bunch of people sitting down, identifying whatever was produced during the whole software development life cycle, identify whether there are any issues. So this is one way to do quality control. Then the other way to do quality control is to do this other technique of lessons learned. And the objective, the goal of lessons learned is that you will find out what are the valuable things you can learn so that in the future you won't repeat the same mistakes again. So the person who writes this can write about the insights that he's learned from this software project, the experiences that they pick up, good and bad, the new knowledge that they've discovered, and they talk about what is successful and what failed during the project as well. So all these are good things that you can apply so that, these are two techniques that you can apply to improve your project. So this all helps in software quality. So I think I will stop here. The others will be a bit too much. Hopefully next week we will start chapter 2. And any questions for me? So this subject, I said, a bit theory, but hopefully this gives you an idea of what you can do. So what we've covered so far is QB, QA, QC. What's this chapter called again? Or this topic called again? Techniques. Techniques to enhance software quality. Okay, so far we've covered 1, 2, 3, 4. Next week when we come back, we'll just do one last part of software quality, which is the cost associated with software quality. So we'll cover that. Any questions? Okay. Not the most exciting topic, but still very important. You all have a subject called software quality, right?
Last semester.
You all cover all this? So this is not new, you never say anything.
QA, QC.
You did all this already. So now I know, next class, we can cut short. You guys know already.
You guys done right? Okay, just skip it.
Okay, I won't go so much about it then since you guys know already.
Maybe
So,
different name.
huh?
Maybe different name.
Cannot be different. How can be different? Yeah. You all learn about? Huh?
Maybe they forgot.
Maybe they forgot. Yes.
讲出来啊，
The quantity is part of the subtotal, but it should be 10%, 5 to 10% of the cost. Need to be some, because efficiency is on its own, right? It must be some as much as it works for